Many Africans, especially Nigerians, have participated in the UK's education system, not as tourists, but as bona fide and vital contributors to its economy, to its culture, and its global diversity. And yet, when policies are tightened, Africans are often blamed for economic pressures, social strains, or public service challenges. And this is despite contributing significantly to the country's GDP. These contributions are very important, and it reflects something very deep about Africa's relationship with the rest of the world. Now, let's talk facts. According to the UK's own data, Nigerian students are among the top African nationalities studying in the UK. Across the UK, international students contribute an estimated £41 billion annually to the economy through tuition, accommodation, and living expenses. Listen to that. Nigerian students alone contribute hundreds of millions of pounds per year in fees and spending, supporting jobs, services, and local economies. And despite this, Africans are subjected to the strictest of visa restrictions. We are subjected to very, very dehumanizing checks and bans. We face higher scrutiny than many other countries, and we are often projected and seen as the problem instead of being the partner. This contradiction is not accidental. Now, when Nigerians study in the UK, they invest in the economy. When Africans work abroad, they pay taxes and contribute labor. When they innovate, they drive local industries. Yet when headlines emerge about strain on public services, crime, and public disturbances, Africans are always branded as the culprits, even when evidence shows the opposite. This pattern reveals something that goes way beyond immigration policies. That contribution alone does not guarantee respect. Participation does not guarantee equality. But why is this so? Because unfortunately, global systems are not structured for mutual inclusion. They are structured for selective participation. Now, Africans pursue foreign education for different reasons, like higher quality programs, global exposure, professional certification, research opportunities. So education should be a gateway to knowledge and opportunity. But what happens when Africans earn degree abroad, pay exorbitant fees, gain valuable skills, yet face systemic barriers to staying, contributing, and thriving? Then education becomes a one-way investment where Africa invests in the global systems, but the global systems do not invest in Africa. Unfortunately, mobility has become a measure of privilege. A European can travel freely, can study, work, or live in different parts of the world with minimal restriction. An African student, on the other hand, faces visa bans, visa restrictions, repeated renewals, higher application expectations and standards, stereotype-based scrutiny. The irony is obvious. Africans grow up watching foreign media and education standards, and we grew up aspiring to get into the systems, only to be treated as outsiders once they arrive. Now, this issue is not limited to the UK. In many parts of Europe, North America, and the Middle East, Africans are restricted, over-examined, under-trusted, over-policed, underrepresented. We are blamed for social ills everywhere, often stemming from policy gaps and not migration. And despite all this battery and restrictions and unfair treatment we receive out there, when issues get tough in Africa, we are always quick to point outside and to look outside for solutions. We pack our bags and jet off, even knowing that the grass isn't necessarily greener on the other side. This brings us to a very important reality. Foreign travel and foreign immigration policy would not determine Africa's future. Africa's own system and free will. We cannot control how the UK or the US or other countries shape their visa policies and regimes. But what we can control is how we educate our people, how we govern our spaces, how we harmonize our markets, how we ensure free mobility within Africa. Now, take education. If Africa's universities can produce globally competitive research, attract international collaborations, and reward innovations, then Africans would choose to stay or leave for opportunities and not for uh, survival's sake because they are desperate. For this to happen, however, education reform must be intentional. Our political systems must reward accountability, build sustainable systems, encourage transparency, discourage corruption, and empower citizens. When politics provide trust and reliability, people don't just stay, they build. Foreign nations cannot grant Africa the dignity it needs. They can only recognize it when Africa has finally structured itself to be worthy of parity. The UK's policy changes are not conspiracy against Africa. They are simply the reflections of a system that protects its own interests. The problem is not that the UK makes rules. The problem is that Africa has not yet built itself to a system where equality and equal respect can be demanded. Africa should not yearn for acceptance at foreign gates. Africa should build its own gates where entry is mutual, not conditional. Africans should be free to travel as a right, not as a privilege. And more importantly, Africans should be able to succeed at home without needing external validation. Education and politics are the twin lever. Reform these two, and Africa would no longer ask for respect. The world will grant it. Africa must get it right, and we will get it right.